Hey guys, welcome back to Fabscaped. In the last video, we talked about making complex shapes using our line tools, our drawing freehand lines, our curved lines, and our sort of calligraphy tool to make complex shapes. And we also talked about using our sculpting or our warp tool and our edit nodes at our point tool to actually edit those existing geometries. In this video, we will talk about more of that editing existing geometries and creating new geometries. So, we'll talk about our merging, our subtracting, our intersection, and basically lots of things. This whole sort of section right here in our path option right here. We'll talk about a lot of that. All right, let's get right to it. So let's say that we want to make a house, right? But we want our house to be out of one solid piece. We don't want it to be multiple objects. We want it to be one piece. So how are we going to do that and still retain all the beauties of a house or a shape? And when I say making a house, I'm not talking about actually making a 3D house. We're just going to make just sort of a picture of a house. But how do we make that picture of a house actually be one object? So we're going to go ahead, we'll click our rectangle. We'll make a rectangle, let's say like that. Now we need to make a top for our house. We're going to go ahead, we're going to make a triangle. So to make our triangle, we could either go here to our polygon thing and make a sort of a regular polygon, or we could go ahead to our line tool. This is what we'll do, is we'll go to our line tool, the second one, and we can actually draw some straight lines. I have snapping on, so what happens is whenever I come close to the edge of my object, it'll basically say, oh, do you want to actually start making your object right here? And I'll start right there. I'm going to click right here just to give a rough estimate of what I really want. And then I'm going to just basically group them back together. I have my object. I'm going to turn it black, and I'm going to remove my line. I don't really like using lines. I'll tell you guys about it in upcoming videos. Now we also need a chimney. So let's use our tool, our rectangle tool right there, and just make a chimney. And then we also need a window. Let's decide on a window or a door. Let's make a door. Let's make a window too. So we're gonna make ourselves a door. Let's turn that door white. Let's make a window. Let's leave it like that. And we can actually take that object right there. Let's duplicate or Control D. Let's move it over here. Let's duplicate it again. Let's move it over here. Actually, before we do that, I'm actually going to do something different. I'm going to actually let's give this object let's give us some little bars on our windows, and we'll take that same little object. Let's duplicate this little bar. Let's click it again, which gives the ability to rotate. Hold down Control. Let's just rotate by increments. Let's rotate that just like that, and then let's hold Control down. Let's you move it horizontally, exactly, or vertically or horizontally, or just along any axis. So there we go. We have this. Now let's take this whole window. Let's duplicate it. Control D. Let's move that duplicate over there, and let's duplicate one more time. Let's move that duplicate. Let's say about right there. Now this looks nice. It looks like a nice house, maybe. But now if we go to try to actually move this house anywhere, guess what's going to happen? If I click right here, oh my goodness, we don't want any of this. We want it to stay one object. So we're going to have to use our merge and our subtract and our different kinds of tools like that to actually have this become one object. So what we're going to do is we're going to click everything that we want to merge, or every basic shape in the background that we want to actually become one shape. So I know that I want this here to merge with this because I don't want this I don't want to happen what just happened when I tried to click this and move it, and only this moved and this here stayed there. We want everything to move together. So I'm gonna click this just like this. Hold shift down, you can click multiple objects. Let's go to path and let's do union. Click union. Now guess what? This is actually one object. And if I actually go to look at its geometry, you can see that it clearly is one object. It doesn't extend down anymore past this. It's one object. Alright, now we're going to have to merge this guy with this because this is also something that we want to be part of the object. We're going to go back to path. We're going to go back to union. Now guess what? This whole thing is an object. Now we just need to figure out how are we going to get these windows and get these doors actually on this object. Well, what we're going to do is, let's say for the door, we're going to have to subtract this door. You see how it's already white, but it could be any color. It could be blue. It doesn't really matter what color it is. We're going to have to subtract it from this main object so that we can actually have one object. So I'm going to click it and hold shift down, select this main object right here. We're going to go to path. We will click difference. Now that I have the difference, now guess what? This is part of the same object. We just basically took this door away from the object and basically bit out that chunk right there. We're gonna have to do the same thing for all these windows. So let's click this window. Let's go back to my select tool. Window, shift this guy, path. Difference. This window, shift this guy, path, and difference. This window, shift this window, path, and difference. And it's important that the things that you're trying to take away from it's important that the objects that you hope to subtract from the other object, that those objects that are to be subtracted are actually above or on top of the object that you're trying to subtract them from. And you can actually arrange those geometries by using these arrange tools right here. You can actually click an object and move it to the front or move it to the back or bring it up a layer or not not a layer but a level or lower it a level. So now we have this, and you might think this is all well and dandy, but guess what? These guys are still there. So we're gonna have to basically, one thing that you could do to make this easier, we're gonna click all these guys, shift to this main thing, and click union. Now this is easier than having to click each individual thing and merge it with our main object. So now we have our house. Now this is actually one piece. This is one solid shape. This is one geometry right here. This is one shape, one object. So now we've done that. We've used our merge tool. We've used our subtract tool. Now how about if I wanted to take, let's say if I liked this window a whole lot and I wanted to take this window out of this object right here. How do I do that? How do I get this window so that I can have it by itself? Let's say I like these rectangles a lot for some reason. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to find the intersection basically of these windows, and I'll have to find I'll have to find a path that will actually give me these geometries. So to do that, I'm going to find this rectangle. I'm going to take this rectangle and I'm going to hold shift down and click this other guy, and I'm going to go to path, and instead of clicking union or difference, I'm going to click exclusion. Why exclusion? Because I want to figure out where do these two objects not overlap. And the only place where they do not overlap is where there is no object, where there's no window, like this subtracted part right here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click my exclusion, and there we go. We have this. Now you can see what we're looking for. Now, how do we actually get this out? Because now this is still one geometry. I just basically added an extra feature to my geometry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take another rectangle, put it over there, and hold shift down, click the sky. And now I'm going to find the intersection of the 2 points. Because now, instead of saying, where do these objects not intersect, I'm going to say, where do these objects actually intersect? And they intersect right at that point where the windows are. Intersection, and voila, I have my window. So these tools are really actually useful for creating new geometries and taking shapes out of each other and doing all kinds of stuff, and basically finding different relationships between shapes and giving relationships to shapes in order to create new objects and or take objects out of different objects. Another feature that we can use, let's say if we had all those objects there but they weren't merged or subtracted or anything, what you could do is you could just take a screenshot of your picture, and then you could basically go up here and go to my trace bitmap, and you'll trace the bitmap of whatever picture that you have, because you'll copy and you'll paste the picture, you paste your screenshot back into this file, and then you'll basically create a vector from that. That's one way you can do it. I'll explain that later in another video later on. But this is the end of this video. I hope we enjoyed learning about how to use our combining tools, our merge, our subtract, our intersection, our exclusion, and we got a sneak peek at screenshot, sort of, let's say, a conceptual overview. To be honest with you, the software that I'm using to actually record these videos doesn't let me take a screenshot like that. So what I'll do is I'll have to take a screenshot, import it, and then pretend that I just took the screenshot, and I'll show you guys how it works. Alrighty, I'll see you guys in the next video. We have more videos coming up about complex shapes. This is only the second one. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope this was useful, and let's make some stuff.